Hey guys, it's your girl Sage. I hope you're having a wonderful day or night whenever this video finds you. I'm here with the daily reading, and for today we have Joel chapter 1. The word of the Lord that came to Joel, son of Pethuel, an invasion of locusts. Hear this, you elders. Listen, all who live in the land. Has anything like this ever happened in your days or in the days of your ancestors? Tell it to your children, and let your children tell it to their children, and their children to the next generation. What the locust swarm has left, the great locusts have eaten. What the great locusts have left, the young locusts have eaten. What the young locusts have left, other locusts have eaten. Wake up, you drunkards, and weep. Wail, all you drinkers of wine. Wail because of the new wine, for it has been snatched from your lips. A nation has invaded my land, a mighty army without number. It has teeth of a lion, the fangs of a lioness. It has laid waste to my vines and ruined my fig trees. It has stripped off their bark and thrown it away, leaving their branches white. Mourn like a virgin in sackcloth, grieving for the betrothed of her youth. Grain offerings and drink offerings are cut off from the house of the Lord. The priests are mourning those who minister before the Lord. The fields are ruined, the ground is dried up, the grain is destroyed, the new wine is dried up, the olive oil fails. Despair, you farmers, wail, you vine growers. Grieve for the wheat and the barley, because the harvest of the field is destroyed. The vine is dried up, and the fig tree is withered, the pomegranate, the palm, and the apple tree, or apricot. All the trees of the field are dried up. Surely the people's joy is withered away. So when I was reading that, immediately what kind of sprung up in my mind with that was, delight yourself in the Lord, and He will provide you with the delights of your heart, or the joys of your heart. And for the reason that came up was because it says right here, it's talking about how everything's been withered up and dried out. Surely the people's joy is withered away. And that got me thinking about how sometimes when, and I confess, I think we all can be guilty of doing this at times. Sometimes when we receive a blessing, we tend to enjoy and delight in the blessing more than the blesser. And not that we do it on purpose, but sometimes we tend to forget to practice grace and gratitude towards the one that provided that for us. I forget, but I want to say it's in Hosea, but there's a scripture verse that talks about when I fed them, they were satisfied. When they were satisfied, they forgot me. So sometimes we tend to get a little bit too comfortable in our blessings that we tend to forget the one that blessed us in the first place. Or other cases, we receive a blessing and we want more. It's very similar to give a mouse a cookie, right? And he's going to ask for a glass of milk. Then he's going to ask for a napkin, etc., etc. So this is kind of, and here's the thing too. We have to remember that the Lord is the one who has created everything. He created the mountains. He created the air, the sky that we see. He created the sun, the moon, everything that exists around us. Plants, animals, you name it. Everything was created by Him. So, we have to remember that it's, this is a divine being we are talking about here that I would say we're dealing with, but the truth is, He's dealing with us. Especially, we can see that here in Joel chapter 1. This is how He's dealing with the Israelites who they took for granted all their bountiful crops and large vineyards. And again, they took it without praising the Lord, without truly honoring the Lord for everything He has done for them and their ancestors. Again, we have to remember they were delivered from some extreme hardships and oppression, only to be blessed with literal a land of milk and honey, right? And of course, these large, beautiful vineyards and these large fields. But what did they do once they got comfortable in their blessings? They just took it for granted. So we have to remember that, when times are good, to rejoice and be glad and to thank the Lord. As well as when times are bad, to remember that God created both. He's created both days, and we have to remember that there's a purpose to these days, you know, the not so good days. I used to say to people, you know, you have to have bad days in order to be able to compare them to the good days, so you know what a good day is. But also it helps us learn gratitude as well. Learn to be grateful and present in our current moment. So, you know, truly remembering all the, even if at the time you're watching this, you might not be in a good period in your life, you know, remember, you know, the Lord sends good days and bad days, but he also gives and he takes away. So we have to remember that who the Lord truly is. He's not a genie that you pray to and boom, whatever you want happens. That's not how it works. He is the divine being, the creator of everything, including you, that, you know, that loves us so much that he gives us mercies that are renewed each morning. He gave us his only begotten son. And I don't know if any of you watching this has ever, I mean, somebody might relate, you know, if you've lost a child, that's something that's incredibly hard to live with. And just because Lord is God, that doesn't mean he doesn't have feelings, he doesn't have a heart. In fact, I think that means the opposite, that his are more intense than anything we could ever understand. So for him to sacrifice his begotten son for us so that we may live, I mean, that is probably one of the biggest sacrifices that anybody could ever make. And, you know, also for perspective here, if you haven't had kids and you need a little bit of help understanding this, I highly suggest that you read about when the Lord asked Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac, his only begotten son, with Sarah, you know, because he had another child with Haggai on Sarah's command, but it wasn't what the Lord wanted. So then, to test the faith of Abraham, the Lord asks him to sacrifice his only son that he had with the woman he loved. And, you know, you just read about how grueling of an experience that is. But, of course, well, anyways, I highly encourage you to read it. Or to read it for yourselves, if you will. But in any case, you know, really take time to count your blessings. I guarantee you that when you really stop and think about all the blessings that the Lord has bestowed upon us, I'm talking you woke up this morning, I'm talking you have breath in your lungs, even if you're using a respirator, you know, you have a roof over your head, you have food in your stomach, or you're hydrated, you're healthy, or even if you're not the healthiest, you're still here. You still, you know, time, you know, what is it? You know, yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. And that is something that should truly be honored, because today, whether you are on the mountains or in the valleys, is truly a gift from the Lord. So I'm praying that this message blessed somebody. If it did, feel free to like, subscribe, and until next time, I hope all of y'all take care. Bye-bye!